Yeah. All right, we're going to go. We're going to go. Well, greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Once again, it is I, your Viceroy of Verisimilitude, your master of fun and wonder, but most importantly, your pharaoh of physical media, coming at you with Let's Get Physical Media episode number 22. But it's not a show. It's not a show unless I reach across the planet Earth and get my favorite German all the way from Saarbrücken, Deutschland, Mr. Dieter Bastian. Dieter, how are you this week?
I am good. A week lies ahead of us, behind us. And why are you still, again, up? Don't you need any sleep, Rob?
I'm a machine, Dieter. I just keep going. I keep streaming. I can't let
probably got two Duracells behind you, like the bunny.
It's true. I am the Energizer Bunny. I can't let our audience down. What would they do without our shows, man?
Yes.
You just got to keep streaming. I love your shirt, by the way.
Thanks. And I say, greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Dieter here. Here I am, rocky like a hurricane for Let's Get Physical Media at the B&B Motel for episode number 22, Acacia Avenue here. And let's start with something a little bit different, of course. A little recap, what I have seen last week. And, of course, the live chat did go into a little bit of a frenzy as I showed Wonder Woman, okay? Dean Migetich demanded immediate cancellation of this douche.
And he was right.
It was, yeah. What can you expect? So I don't know why I'm still here, Rob, but okay. But Wesner came through for me. She said she liked canceled people, so okay. But she was disappointed at me because I didn't show Tony last week. Because I showed the box set for Tony last week before that. But here, Wesner, here it is now. The Iron Man Mark 85. And what I would say,
great. That's an incredible figure, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't have mine yet.
And to switch it a little bit up, I would say, let's start with a letter today instead of showing stuff.
Bring it on, Dieter. Give me a letter. We got a bunch of letters this week. We're getting more and more letters all the time. And, just so people know, I do send you letters in advance. Yeah. So, we that's what we like. That's what we like here.
Okay. The first letter comes from Twinflix, who has their own channel, I believe, on YouTube.
Yeah.
It comes from Paul Gilmore, and he says, "Hi, Rob and Dieter. Love the show, and this show is the PGS little way of keeping physical media alive for now. That said, I'm sorry, but I just do not understand the reasoning behind watching and collecting VHS tapes. I mean, I guess if you grew up during that time, buying or having some is for nostalgia purposes. But that's not what I'm talking about. Majority of these collectors I see was not even an itch in their dad's pants during the 80s, 90s. I just can see myself purposely having a movie night, getting the refreshments, sitting down to watch one of my favorite movies with bad pen and scan on an NTSC TV. Why would anyone watch a completely inferior product? Why would one do that to themselves? Again, if you grew up on beta or VHS, I can see the nostalgia, but majority weren't even born then, so they can't even say, remember when? Or are my 44 years on Earth just out of touch with this? Can either of you explain? Thanks, Paul Gilmore. So, Paul, I can't explain that myself because I didn't know that existed. That people still watch,
yes,
and collect VHS. That seems strange to me.
I know a lot of people that still. I think that there's actually a pretty good reason to collect VHS tapes for people. I think, first of all, it's an artifact that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
And if you're like, for instance, if you're a horror collector, there is so many great, all the lurid box art and sometimes the oversized boxes, the nostalgia factors there. Obviously, there are some things on VHS that have never made it to DVD, to Blu-ray, or to 4K, and might not ever. So those might be the only existing versions of films. But then also the box art, especially if you're a horror or science fiction fan, there's really cool imagery to collect. Yeah. That said,
like we know, we buy stuff just because of the design.
Yeah, that's exactly not because right.
We like it.
But now I would say this: I don't know of unless it's a movie that you can't get or it's some version of it. VHS. I hated VHS when I had VHS. I was a huge. The NTSC, and I hate to say this, but I still have a lot of Laserdiscs, and I like my Laserdisc brethren out there that still collect discs, and there's certain reasons to still collect Laserdiscs, mostly when it comes to sound, like their AC3.
Yeah, totally.
That's a reason, but again, it's NTSC video. It's garbage video. Blu-rays are 6 times better than VHS and DVD, and 4Ks are many times greater than that. And like you, I want the best transfer of the movie possible. And a lot of the time, the things that people talk about in terms of sound, I mean, we're getting, if you have uncompressed audio on a 4K disc or something, and you have a great kick-in home theater system, I mean, the differences for things like Laserdiscs are is it worth the pain in the ass? Okay, maybe you have a Dolby Digital or an AC3 track that pounds a little bit more punch or something, packs more punch, but is that worth it with the reduced picture quality? I mean, it's terrible, and it was always terrible. And VHS tapes, what I used to hate is I collected, obviously, because it was the only home video format. In 1985, I shifted over to Laserdiscs, and I never looked back. And then I didn't want to embrace Laserdiscs, but in 98, started buying 97, 98, I started buying DVDs, and they were just better. Especially because now you have progressive scan images, and I'm with you. Like, I understand collecting VHS tapes is kind of a cool artifact, and if you're gonna buy, like Wizard Video oversized boxes from the back in the day, all right. But VHS is garbage. I can't watch it. I can't watch anything on VHS. I can't watch bad. I had too many bootleg videotapes that were nigh unwatchable.
And Rob, the problem always was with the tracking. You could have a good picture, but then the sound was a little bit fuzzy.
Yep.
Because the head switching, or you could have good sound, but then there was this little bit trouble with the picture. All this shenanigans with VHS.
Shenanigans, and it drove me crazy.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, you'd copy all these films, and then you'd watch a film 4 or 5 months later, and there'd be more dropouts in the picture, actual dropouts from the magnetic tape, and that used to drive me crazy. I'm like, fuck this format.
Yeah. So it was strange to me when Paul Gilmore sent that letter that people still collecting, yes, but watching VHS. I probably couldn't even do it, even if it was a movie that is not available on any other format. Probably not.
Yeah, I mean that's something that's worth. I mean, I would say that's definitely worth doing. But of the movies that aren't on any other format, are they worth collecting? I mean, now you can get Sex World on 4K from Vinegar Syndrome. I mean, there's very few. I don't know how many. Actually, I will say this. I have a VHS tape of a movie, a Japanese-Chinese co-production that I love called The Go Masters. And VHS is the only way to have it. I have it, own it. I got it from the late Joe Bologna. He said, go ahead, take that. I couldn't believe it. He had it in his collection. I'm like, oh, my God, I've been looking at this movie for years. I saw it at the Seattle International Film Festival in 1984, and I'd never been able to get it again. And he gave me the VHS tape, and I have it. So that tape is... precious to me.
Not available as a stream or something like that? No. Okay.
Nope. So,
no.
Dieter, I have a VHS tape. Actually, I have a few.
Last few, I have 2, but I don't have any machine anymore, Rob.
Yeah, I do. I don't know if mine works. I haven't fired it up in forever.
Yeah, okay. What have I seen this last week? And I've always wanted to put out the movies again, even if I've shown them. If I've liked it or have something to say about it. Before the show started, I watched Hot Summer Nights with Timothée Chalamet, and I liked the movie. The movie is a little bit not that well received. What was great was the making of, because I remember at the Midnight Metal show you did this morning with Dave. Dave said you did that great package for The Hills Run Red with all the extras.
Yeah.
And most of the new releases come with nothing, or it's EPK kits that's done ahead of time. The good thing here was it contains a making of with the director, which was, I think, a first-time director of the movie. And what's strange was in the making of, you could see a lot of scenes that were not in the movie, strangely. That was great. So the making of had deleted scenes in the making of. And I thought, wait, this was not in the movie. Wait, this was not in the movie. So kudos to the making of. And I like the movie. Hot Summer Nights plays in the beginning of the 90s when Terminator 2 was released. This week I saw this movie, The Swordsman, and it's totally great. Love it. For me, it's the John Wick of swordplay, I would say.
Oh,
so
that
in this
sounds good.
category, here's the sword hang up. Didn't want to use it anymore, but then comes the time to pull the good thing out again. Then some heads are gonna roll. Not really heads, but really dug it. Swordsman was really good. Then I haven't seen it, but I told you last week, Rob, that this movie is coming out again in Germany, but I didn't know anymore how it will come out again. So their status was the first release. Let me just see if I can pull this up. So it will come out as this movie again. That's on repeat with another cover, but it's the totally the same movie. So you have to be careful here in Germany, Rob. They do that with such little titles more than once.
Yeah.
Put it out, new cover, new title, boom. And you think, oh, it's a new title. And the horror fan in me, oh, what is this? And it was already released. You have to be careful.
Yes. Damn it.
So how was your haul this week, Rob?
My haul, Dieter, not huge. Not a huge haul,
Okay.
but I think a good haul.
Good haul. Okay.
First of all, for me, a cat in the bag, but because you recommended it, I didn't go for a special edition. I was actually found a great special edition of this on a Korean website, but it was really expensive. It was actually was shipping $100, and I'm like, bruh, that's like halfway to a hot toy. But that would be I Am a Hero.
Awesome, Rob.
So yes,
awesome. But looks good, Rob.
Manga artists turned zombie. Yeah, I mean, and I like this packaging. Heroism is in his blood. So I went and picked that up. For me, it's a cat in the bag. Just because
I hope you like it.
Just because you recommended it, when Dieter talks, we all listen, don't we?
Except it's Driven or Wonder Woman. Then we thought,
well, those are just bad.
And Rob, I watched Driven yesterday.
And did you enjoy it?
No, no.
Well,
but
this is a huge admission for you.
Yeah, it's probably on the Rennie Harlan list.
Yeah.
And what I totally forgot, there are almost 50 minutes of deleted and extended scenes.
Wow.
On the Blu-ray, where Sylvester Stallone discusses what was cut or what was extended. So there are almost 50 minutes of stuff that was different, or the movie should have been a little bit more
better?
For the characters. Probably.
More better.
more better.
Well,
so it really didn't hold up, and now I know why I could remember anything, because it was not that good. But Rennie put himself in it at a little moment. So
yeah, well, is that a good thing?
I don't know, but he did a little role in Cultural Island. He was seen, killed by his wife at the time.
Yeah.
And but it wasn't not really. It was not good.
One I overlooked, finally picked it up, was Promising Young Woman. I don't know why I missed
this
out
would
on
be
that.
a great movie, I believe, for Elizabeth Hughes.
Yeah, I think so. I think we will do it because we're going to start bringing back Elizabeths because Elizabeth is done with school, so she's got 3 weeks. We're going to do a lot of Elizabeths. And a movie I'm very anxious to see that I was really excited about getting. It's weird. I don't know if this is video on demand or what the deal is.
Okay.
But Thomas Vinterberg's movie with Mads Mikkelsen, Another Round. A lot of award buzz around this film.
Mine is underway, but I didn't get it.
Yeah, it was weird. I wasn't supposed to. It was one of these things. It's happening more and more. You order discs and they tell you they're coming like in a month, and then they show up randomly. So, and again, I mean, I don't even know what there's no studio on the on the label here, and I'm looking at it.
An MOD.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it is an MOD, which is movie on demand, printed when people order them or whatever. Because it just showed up, but I love Mads Mikkelsen. I love the idea of this movie that these guys decide to keep their blood alcohol level up and live that way. I'm like, wow, this is a movie made just for me. So I figured I would pick.
Unfortunately, you got that before me because I wanted to use that as a joke that your biopic is out, Rob, and you didn't told me about it. Now you've got that movie before me. Damn you, Rob.
Oh, I know. And then a movie that finally came out that I love. I haven't cracked this open. It's one of my favorite comedies for a very long time. This is the 45th anniversary edition, The Bad News Bears. If you've ever seen a foul-mouthed movie with kids in it and Walter Matthau, this is the original Bad News Bears.
Wasn't there a series? Wasn't there a series at
television? I remember. I think there was
not
with Tatum O'Neal and Jackie Earle Haley. Never before seen special features, including an interview with Kevin Smith. This movie was from mid 1970s. I love this film. Like many people will tell you that they'll say, Rob, you don't have very many comedies, but the comedies I do have, I really, really love, and it's true. I don't have a lot of comedies. Like people don't judge, but I don't have movies like Anchorman. The Legend of Ron Burgundy. I like comedies, but they're not. I mean, to me, some of my favorite, more recent comedies. I love Get Him to the Greek and Forgetting Sarah Marshall. I Love You, Man. I own those movies. But then for me, the comedies I own are more classic. Like I love Tootsie. I love the original Arthur, and so I do have a Caddyshack, Animal House. I do like those comedies. But there's a lot of. Like Ron Burgundy, I get it. Like I understand why people love it. I have the Wayne's World movies, Austin Powers, stuff like that. But I don't know why. I just don't. To me, I guess comedies don't have the rewatchability unless they're a movie like Tootsie that it's a comedy, but it's also a drama. It's not just like I watch Anchorman and it's funny. I like it, but I'm not going to revisit it over and over and over again.
Well,
so. And then it finally showed up. The 4K, I was waiting for this from Severin.
Wait, Rob, wait. I can toe-to-toe with you.
Look at that. We both got our Alex de la
I don't know
Iglesia.
if you know it. It had a reversible cover art.
Wow, you know what? What I do like is even the main cover is different, but I did not. I didn't
because
look.
Perdita Durango has had none.
Right. And you know what? Now that you've told me this, I am totally on the show. Yep. I love when they do this. I'm kind of a stickler, though. I have to make sure that the spine is perfectly lined up. I can't stand it when the spine isn't perfect because I'm anal retentive like that. So there you go. Yes, my spine is the baseline. If you're a Shriekback fan, wow, this is a great.
Perdita Durango again. That I was correct. Because Perdita didn't have a reversible cover.
So I mean that's today. That's this week's haul. Not a big haul. I do have a big box coming from Arrow, with of course Donnie Darko in 4K and a Battle Royale in 4K. Battle Royale. I mean we're getting Battle Royale is one of my most eagerly awaited releases of the year in 4K, along with the Criterion Wong Kar-wai box set. So we're getting a lot of. There's not a lot of new movies to buy because a lot of new movies didn't come out last year. And so I guess we're going to have to wait. But, there's a lot of great vintage stuff coming out. So that's it. That's what I got. Those 5 discs. What is that? 6 discs? Yes, 5 discs.
Okay.
No, 6. I got 6. It was respectable.
Yeah.
6 discs is respectable.
That's not to laugh about.
No.
It's one per day. One per day.
Yeah,
that's usual quota.
There you go. I mean, and Blu-ray.com is down. The website is down for maintenance, and I'm not really sure what's coming out next week, so I can't. I have to look, but I'll go to Amazon or something.
Let us be surprised.
Yeah, I'll be surprised.
Like you told, at the moment I'm always expecting from my German purchases delays. It's seldom that the movie really comes out on the specific date that it was given first. Okay.
I know.
So I would say I do the next letter before I come to my haul.
All right.
And the next letter comes from Terry Pennington Jr. And he writes, "Hi, Rob and Dieter. With physical media being a part of our lives from the time that we are young to the time that we begin to realize on how much physical media can mean to us all. From our memories or renting movies to give us an escape into the very worlds of the movie that we are watching at the time, or giving us more time with the ones that we love by enjoying the movies that we love with family and friends. But for me, one of the more precious memories that I have is when my son gave me a gift that he had picked out for me. And that gift was the 6-disc Blu-ray set of the Star Wars trilogy. For I could it in his eyes when he handed me the gift that he knew I would love it. And it was the moment of it that I loved so very much, and it is a gift that I still cherish very much to this day. For as time passes, I will never forget that gift he gave to me. My son was 5 when I took him to see Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, as I was a child when my parents took me to see Return of the Jedi. But it is nice that we can share the love of movies with the ones that we love." I think that it's a great letter and a great comment on Star Wars, considering generation, giving Star Wars to the next generation. I don't know if anyone will give the Disney trilogy to the next generation.
Come on now.
Okay. This was from Terry Pennington Jr. But it was only the 6-box set, so the Disney stuff isn't in it. But he will probably get it too.
Yeah, he will. I like that. I mean, as much as I don't like the sequel trilogy, I do, in fact, I do enjoy the box set of the Skywalker saga.
So my haul for the week, Rob, after you schooled me last week, I couldn't get around it, Rob. I bought it too. Steak from Arthouse.
From a German disc.
Yeah, German disc, because I didn't know it was only available in Germany.
Yeah.
And I totally forgot about the Stuckman review, but I haven't watched it yet. Just bought it. Stay.
Yeah.
The next one, a lot of Korean stuff this week. And this is the German disc. I missed out on the Korean release, which was, I think, 1 or 2 years before that. Just Tunnel.
Right.
A catastrophic movie, but I didn't see it. So this is a Korean movie, but a German disc. The next one I watched this week, unfortunately not that good, was A Cat in the Bag. It's called I Am Lisa.
Oh.
Little werewolf movie, but it was a little bit disappointing. But the cover is actually not lying, Rob. This is all the transformation you can see from our girl. So just a little bit lost. So not really a transformation to full werewolf makeup. And you can see
disappointing.
You can see the budget restrictions on it. So, but there is a 50-minute making of on it, audio commentary. So on the extra section, I was really surprised because I thought this movie would come out with nothing at all. But it has a 50-minute making of, and you can see they tried their best, Rob, but unfortunately, it was not that good. I am Lisa. The next one, a Schnäppchen, Rob, because I didn't really look forward to buying these movies in 4K at some point, but it was really a snapshot for around, I would say, $18.
Wow.
The 21 Jump Street movies in 4K.
Wow.
With
That's
the
cool.
Blu-rays. So you have 4 discs actually in
and it's a steelbook to boot.
In the set. So I thought, come for $18. I did get it.
I like those movies, actually. I was saying I don't like comedy.
Yeah.
I like those movies a lot.
Yeah, but I have them on Blu-rays. I wasn't under pressure to get them in 4K as I would be considering Matrix or Blade Runner. But I thought, this is a Schnäppchen. Come, I'll take it. Next one. I have to stop buying Jackie Chan movies. I don't know how much I bought the Jackie Chan movies. But from Eureka, Wheels on Meals.
I love Wheels on Meals.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's great. So, but this, strangely enough, has not any other versions. So it's actually seems that is one movie that doesn't have different versions of it.
Wow.
Wheels on Meal. And the next one is, I believe, Japanese trash from a long time ago. But considering Midnight Metal, I thought,
there is no Japanese trash.
Meatball Machine.
Oh, wow. Wow, where'd you get that? Where'd that come from?
It's the UK. It's the UK one.
Okay.
It contains strong bloody violence, just as I hopefully like it. But the movie is, I don't think, from the 2000s or something like this. And this wasn't the first Blu-ray release. It's probably in the trashy sector, but perhaps good trash.
Hey, you know what? I have an affinity for Japanese trash. Usually that's good trash. And if nothing else, it's got Japanese girls in it. So you never lose. There you go.
And we talked about a little bit in private that at some point, perhaps our special editions, we will run out of showing stuff to the people, because from our perspective, just showing a media book or a steelbook is not really that extra special that we would like to share. But this week I got 2 new movies that I could already put into the special edition sections. And the first one, I watched it this week. And Rob, I don't know if it stands in the Bible or in your Declaration of Independence that you are a sexy motherfucker.
Well, as a Prince fan, I am. Wow, look at that.
This is an animation movie, a French-Japanese co-production. And I totally love it. I had the movie longer time on my screen, but I forgot about it.
It's literally called Motherfuckers.
Yep. And but now the edition was a little bit reduced in the price, so I got it, and I just opened it up. Let's just open it up. What it contains? It contains, Rob, a bandana is in it. Then art book is in it.
Wow. Well, those characters.
And I love cool. The movie. Movie is totally insane, Rob. And I probably will get the US version too, Rob, because the original language is French. But considering where the movie plays, I would love to have an English dub, strangely enough, for the movie. So I will probably get the US version too.
Is that a German book?
This is the German. So you've got a digital comic is in it.
Wow.
The soundtrack in these.
Wow.
Pack was really great. And just to show you how crazy, this is the normal cover of the movie, which is the same in the US, and it shows you how crazy the movie is. This is the cover-up.
Wow. Motherfuckers. I got to get that and have it in my collection. Fuck yeah.
Cooler, hellish, entertaining. And let's see. This was behind it.
Wow. Is that a 4K disc?
No, unfortunately not. Oh. Unfortunately not. But considering it plays in the movie plays in the States, I really think I will probably get the US version too, to have an English dub for the movie. I haven't heard in the German dubbing, but considering it's really a visual movie, really bloody, so I really want to get the US version just to have the movie without subtitles, can focus a little bit more of the animation. But I dug it, and I could have used it as a special edition already. Motherfuckers, nice. It's from 2017. It's not a fresh movie. So, motherfuckers. Then I
say that one more time.
Motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers. I showed this movie already, Deliver Us from Evil.
Yeah, I like this movie.
This was the German media book, but finally, Rob, I got the sister piece, the Korean, which contains the movie in a longer version, and then I put it. I had trouble getting it out this morning.
That's what she said.
Yeah, and I probably won't get it out. But it has 2 discs. It has the theatrical cut and the final cut, and the longer version is only distributed in Korea itself.
Wow. Okay. Go Korea.
So I got this movie, the movie for a second time. Deliver Us from Evil, which you probably have done on your show number 660, because we're still here, Rob. We're still here. Okay. And the next one is one of my favorite Korean directors, Kim Ji-won. I believe he made such movies like A Bittersweet Life.
Oh, I love yes, that's a great film.
He made A Tale of Two Sisters.
Yeah.
Or he made, The Good, the Bad.
I like Good, Bad, and Weird too.
That he made. And he made, this is a huge special edition that I could have used as a special edition, Age of Shadows did he make, which comes with a package, with a steelbook in it.
Wow, what a great package that is.
Age of Shadows. But this is not the movies that I got this week. What I got in Germany, it's available on Netflix, is the live-action version of the anime Shinro. It's Ilang.
Yep.
The Wolf Brigade.
Yep.
And I watched it this week. I totally dug it.
It's really cool. I have that.
The iconic red eyes.
Yeah.
And this is the Korean version. You would love the feeling, Rob.
Oh, yeah. I love Jinro. They made Hot Toys figures of those.
Oh, great. And we always love it when the inside comes with a different
love
cover.
That. Yep.
But that's not all, Rob. It comes with a little card. It's distributed by Warner Brothers, the movie. It has postcards in it with character designs and a booklet. But the great thing about the booklet, Rob, for me, because my Korean is a little bit rusty, just pictures, Rob. Just pictures.
Oh, there you go.
Just pictures. No text.
They knew you were going to buy it. They did that just for you.
So thanks to my South Korean friends, Ilang, the Wolf Brigade. I love it. The reviews are, strangely enough, a little mixed. I believe the more people like the anime, which is a little bit different, I believe, considering the story. But I really dug the live-action version from Kim Jong-woo, who did all the other great stuff that he already did. So this was my haul from this week, Rob.
Well, a good haul it was. Very international, very broad-based. I approve, Dieter, of your international haul. Now, I have another letter.
Lucky.
I have another letter that's really directed at you. You, yes.
What have I done? What have I done again?
Well, you're about to find out. David Kukol has written in, and David Kukol says, "Hello, Rob and Dieter. I debated whether or not I should write this letter, as I thought it was too off-topic, but Dieter urged me on. So here we go. This is about the first 2 parts of your trilogy, Dieter, and what inspired the Intergalactic Imagination Connoisseurs Film Festival. Regarding the Secret Exchange 1 and 2, there are many. So for those of you who don't know, Dieter and Patrick, and then Patrick's daughter Mia, have made 2 films in their opus trilogy, magnum opus trilogy, The Secret Exchange.
Not finished, Rob.
Not finished yet. So here are the questions. Many production-related questions. How did Dieter and his boss choose the outdoor filming locations? Where was the confrontation scene recorded? You know, the scene where Dieter's character gets his ass handed to him. Was it near a public park? I see cars driving in the background. Was the scene ever interrupted by passers-by who were out for a walk? Was it produced during COVID? I somehow doubt it, but I don't like to make assumptions. How was the fight scene choreographed? And what did you guys use to simulate the blood running from Mr. Diecast's nose? Maybe Rob should produce behind-the-scenes documentaries about the Secret Exchange series. I cannot be the only one who would buy the disc. There are two reasons I ask these questions. The first is that I like to know how things are made. The second is that I have my own limited experience being a small part of a much more modest project. Back in the 1990s, some friends and I made a short film on standard definition videotape. We taped it in a public area. It was a Cold War thriller, and I played a renegade agent who had to run away from the camera and be shot by another character. I remember feeling very silly as I ran and tumbled onto the ground when the director yelled, "Bang, bang." However, when I saw the final product, edited and with sound effects, I thought it looked pretty good. The director was a very talented gentleman who did wonders with limited resources. You see, Rob, while you were gearing up to direct your first film starring William Shatner, I was falling on the grass somewhere in standard definition. And we did have some passers-by giving us strange looks. It was fun and decent for what it was, but I am no actor, and I turned my creative impulses toward the drawing board. So, what is the inside story of The Secret Exchange, or am I the only one who cares? Surely not. Keep up the good work, and now back to your show's regular format. Regards, David Kukol. Well, there you go, Dieter. Give us, what was it like making these movies and getting your ass handed to you?
Well, David, I would say, since that will be a little longer story, if Rob would indulge me, I will put it at the end of the show. So we just do physical media first, then I will go into The Secret Exchange, everything you wanted to know. But first things first, David, we can't let Rob do a making of. Do you know what his salary was back in the DVD
Oh,
days?
yeah.
I couldn't pay him.
Yeah,
I'm for just one person who wants to know this stuff. So I will explain at the end of the show, but we will first do all the physical media stuff, and then I will answer your question about our silly, not finished trilogy at the moment. Okay, Rob, let's do it at the end of the show.
Yes, well, we could do it at the end of the show. Yeah. That's fine with me. So I guess, do you want to show your special editions?
Yeah. Considering, I believe, Shout Factory announced Brotherhood of the Wolf, and we talked about, I said, we think at some point we will run out of special editions, but luckily we still have the DVD special editions. And this was the French version of the DVD from Brotherhood of Wolves, Le Pacte des
Wow,
Loups.
look at that. That looks gorgeous.
It came with a foreword from Christoph Gans. So I have to be careful. So here you have the booklet. And here it was in this package. So now I have it. So it was a 3-disc.
That is gorgeous.
3-disc set that I haven't part till this day, and I will still keep. But I will totally love for the Shout Factory. Actually, this movie should come out in 4K, Rob, I would say.
I really love the film. We did this on Whining About Movies. I love this movie.
And this one, of course, I have to use Elizabeth help because it's written in French, of course.
Yeah.
So this was my special edition for this week. Le Pacte des Loups, Brotherhood of the Wolves. And I let me just check, Rob. Since there was the longer cut, probably one is the theatrical version, but Le Film bonus, collector, no. This was the longer version already, I believe. Yeah, correct. It's the 150 minute, I believe, 145 minute. Yeah. Le Pacte des Loups, my special edition for this week, Rob.
Nice.
From the DVD days.
Well, I have a book this week.
Okay.
I'm going to show a book that, as everyone knows, I love my Taschen books. And one of my favorite Taschen books, which is also one of the most impractical Taschen books, came out. First of all, what Taschen does is release these great film books in these huge formats. And then they which are hideously expensive, and then they sell lesser. They make a more of a mass market version. But and I don't buy a lot of Toshin books, but when there's something that the Star Wars Archives, I showed that, Volume 2, I showed that on this channel a couple weeks ago. What I wanted to show, mostly because I wanted a reason to, I was moving it around in the Robservatory. I'm like, you know what? This thing is so badass, I'm going to show it. So what it is it comes in this giant box, and I keep the box because I love the box. Here, I'll go full frame on this so people can see it. But here's the box. It comes in, and you'll see why I kept this box. Let's see, can I pull it back? You can't really. Well, this is. Oh, I've got upside down. It's upside down. The Making of 2001. So here's the box that the book comes in, and it's a huge box. But I love having this on display because I love this design. You know, the 2001. I love it. I think that's like the coolest thing ever. Yeah, and I think that to be honest, the actual book itself, which I'm going to show you, is completely ridiculous, and it's just silly, but I love it anyway. So you open it up, and the book actually comes in a monolith that is the proper aspect ratio. Now this thing is totally metal, and I don't mean like fucking metal, man. I mean this is metal. It's huge. And it's heavy. I mean, this must weigh 15 or 20 pounds. It's really heavy. It's so here now. What's crazy about this is it has a one side of the monolith, which is great because you can't see the seam. It's metallic, so this side opens up. It sits in there, and I mean it's so here's what's in it. So you open this up right now. It's just so I'm going to set this down. This whole thing, I mean everything about this is just ridiculous. So the first thing that it comes with is this, which I want to get it the right direction. And this is just a book of frame grabs from the movie. Just images from the film. And it's great because it's all about, composition of the shots. So these are all still frames from the movie that kind of tell the whole story, but it just shows the composition. It's the same aspect ratio as the film, and it's just cool. And it's kind of like that Frames book I saw, the George Lucas book of frames. So it's really nice. I mean, it's bound. It's great. But now that's one thing. So here's the actual book. The actual book for the making of book. Now, this book is awesome. And you open it up, and it's like all Toshin books. It's printed on great paper, but here's the one thing about this. As much as I love this book, I also kind of hate it. And I'll tell you why. They were so clever that here's what I don't like. Like, it's one thing to make the book fit in a monolith and all that. I get it. That's cool. But all of the pictures are like interrupted by the binding. Like in the middle, they all cross over, here, like the gutter. And like, well, that's dumb. I mean, I understand. I mean, I love their pictures. Some of these never before seen photos. They're great. But then you get to, like, they have these, so if I can find one. Yeah, there's fold-outs in this thing. So if I could find one, let me find here, like, okay, hang on. Well, like here's a picture of the Ares 1B, the moon shuttle. Like, it sucks because you want to see this picture across. You don't want it interrupted in the middle. Like, come on, man. This is a really cool picture of the model. By the way, they're finally putting on a model kit of the Ares. I can't wait to get that. So that's just, like, kind of dumb. Like, why would you want to do that? And so here's like Keir Dullea, right? And then they have this fold out. So here's an example. There's lots of fold outs in the book. And so it's like this, and you see these, and all the pictures are great, but what a pain in the ass. I mean, I love this book, and they make a very small version of this. I think this book, to be honest, I think it costs like $700 or something. I don't even remember. But it was like when they announced this is one of these things where I just don't care. I don't care what it costs. I have to own it. And so I do. And I don't. It's one of these things where I've looked through this so many times, but it always annoys the fuck out of me when I look through it. But I do love it because, like all Taschen books, I mean, everything from the paper smell to the binding, you hold it in your hand. I mean, it just feels. It makes me all tingly, Dieter. It makes me all tingly. It's just
like $700.
Yes, it feels like it does. It feels like $700 now. In the box, it also came with more stuff. Other books. So, like, here's the screenplay. It came with, this was also in that box. Obviously, so you have the entire screenplay for 2001 and all the notes and everything. Yep. It's pretty interesting. The props and what it's very interesting. All the notes, because there's not a lot of dialogue, obviously, but it's really cool to have this and see how it, and again, this is a slipcase book, and they've got the designs, the HAL, and it's just, so it came with that. And then it also came with this book. And this is just this is another book that it came with. And Journey Beyond the Stars, this was like the whole original, it was by Kubrick and Arthur C. Clarke, and it was the whole movie sort of beat out in novelized form, and it's amazing. It's amazing to see the thought process. And then the final thing it came out with is the Mad Magazine. It came with an excerpt from Mad Magazine, the Mad Magazine 2001 parody, 2001: A Space Idiocy, which I'm like. If you want the definitive 2001 book, I don't know if these other little books are included in the smaller release. I don't know if they duplicated that, but maybe because I don't know, because I don't have the smaller release. But that is my special edition for this week, the Taschen Making of 2001 book. I love these books. They've got the James Bond archives. They've released a new version of it that has No Time to Die in it, and I'm like, oh great. So now I have to get the No Time to Die version so I can be a Taschen completist for my archives collection. So anyway.
You probably have that book before the film is getting released.
I know, right? I know. So, yeah. Do you have another letter?
No, I don't have any letter. But I wanted to introduce our new segment.
Yep.
Because last week I showed I Am a Hero, and I was surprised you didn't know the movie. So I thought, why don't we do a little bit, do you know this movie section?
Yeah.
I put out some odd, strange movie that is not Star Wars or some big IP. And the first one I did pick out, of course, Asian movie, as always. Do you know this movie, Rob? Gun Woman.
I do not, but I like the title and the cover.
The problem is, Rob, if you don't know the movie, I don't want to spoil it for you.
Oh, okay.
But it is that one thing that makes this movie insane. Do you want to know it, Rob?
Yes, I do. I want to know.
She has to infiltrate an organization, and she has a gun operated in her body.
Wow.
She wakes up from her anesthesia and has to pull out the gun from her body and put it together. This is a German gun because it was the easiest to assemble or has the least parts of something. So this idea is just insane, Rob. And she is, as far as I know, a porno actress. So she didn't have any problems to be naked in front of the camera. But for me, this was totally great. And the language is a
I'm
combination.
sure it was totally great for you.
And the language is a combination of English, Japanese. It's not Japanese the whole way through. It's a combination of these books.
So that's a Japanese movie?
Yeah, but like I said, it has English and Japanese language considering the movie itself. And this is the German media book. And considering the idea, for me, this is great, Rob. Gun Woman. You know?
A gun woman, a porno actress who has to pull parts of a gun out of herself,
and put the gun together.
Well, that's just something I think we all need to see.
Who comes up with such an idea, Rob?
Only the Japanese, I guess, and God bless them for it. We're all richer people because the Japanese make movies like this.
So this is my tip for today. Gun Woman.
All right.
And luckily, you didn't know that movie. Right?
No, now I'm gonna.
But you should. Gun Woman. This was back in the day. You would know this movie, Rob. But now it's just Disney Plus and Netflix.
Oh, come on now. No, that's why we do this show, so I can learn these important lessons. From the obscure titles. That's right. God damn it. That's what this show's all about. It's about spreading the love of physical media, but also educating the masses about movies like Gun Woman they might have missed. By the way, I
am a hero.
Yeah, I'm a hero. There you go. I am a hero. We've got some super chats and tips, people. Justin Toner, our own Justin Toner,
moderator,
says, Rob, check out this article on UHD. It goes over sales numbers and trends and how Blu-ray is being squeezed between 4K and higher DVD sales. Very informative read. Okay, that does sound informative. Yes, a lot more people buy DVDs than it would seem on this show.
Yeah.
I'm going to put that so you can read this article from Justin. I put that in the live chat. You can check it out.
Great.
Well, hell, why don't I, since he sent it in, why don't I take a gander at this article and see what it says and read it on the show? It sounds, here we go. So this is on flatpanelshd.com. So it's flatpanelshd.com. And this is a brand new article. This was published on April 15th. The state of Ultra HD Blu-ray. With the competition between streaming services intensifying, it's easy to forget there's still a market for consumers who buy physical media, who like to collect tangible things for a variety of reasons, including pride of ownership, wanting to actually own things, fear of tampering by content owners. Is it niche? Not quite. It's shrinking for sure by double-digit numbers annually, but it's still a mass market. What's niche, perhaps, is the premium segment of the format, Ultra HD Blu-ray, a 4K HDR disc format introduced 5 years ago this February. Wow. 10 years after the Blu-ray disc and 20 years after DVD. It's likely the ultimate video disc format. Like I've always said, Dieter, 4K is probably going to be the last physical media format.
Our end of the line.
Yeah. Nielsen VideoScan, a company of the NPD Group, has since years been collecting retail sales numbers of consumer purchases in the U.S. market. The year 2020. First, a note of caution. The past year has not been a normal year for a lot of things, including entertainment spending. Expenditure on streaming services has increased at an accelerated rate, while spending on physical media has not. But there's more. Because of COVID measures, Hollywood studios have had to halt movie production for months. Moreover, because of lockdown, cinemas and movie theaters have had to close for extended periods. This dearth of theatrical releases has translated into a complete stagnation of home video releases a few months down the line. Still observing the traditional windows and the staggered release schedules, the sell-through video market is, or at least used to be, driven by such new releases. That's the main reason why 2020 was not a great year for movie sales, and it has exaggerated certain trends. Now, what's really interesting, here is the video numbers, according to this article. There's a chart. Okay. This is amazing. So for physical media, units sold in 2018, 51.8%, this is 2018, of physical media sold was DVD. 41.9% was Blu-ray, and 6.3% was 4K. In 2019, 53.5% of discs sold were DVD. 39.0% were Blu-ray, and 7.5% was 4K. So it went up a percentage point. But DVD sales are bigger. In 2020, DVD sales rised to 60%. Blu-ray sales dropped to 32.9%, and 4K stayed similar at 7.1%. Now, this year, Dieter, the first quarter of 2021, 71.6% of all physical media discs sold were DVD. Only 23.6% were Blu-ray, and since 2018, only 4.8% were 4K discs. So the numbers for Blu-ray and 4K dropped significantly in the first quarter of this year because there's no, and DVD sales keep going.
You have me speechless, considering DVD sales.
DVD is the cheapest option, obviously, and price matters. Ultra HD Blu-ray, meanwhile, is the best format in terms of audio and video quality. Blu-ray disc is neither. It's a decent compromise between price and picture and sound quality, but it's neither the cheapest nor the best. It's a less and less compelling proposition. The UHD Blu-ray disc would mostly cannibalize Blu-ray, was to be expected. The people who want the cheapest option and still haven't upgraded to Blu-ray more than 10 years after the introduction are likely to stick with DVD, while those who want the best quality migrate from Blu-ray to 4K. Every week when I post, meaning the author, when I post the weekly market share pie chart on my Ultra HD Blu-ray tweet feed, someone in shock about the high market share of DVD will ask, who still buys DVDs? Well, a lot of people is the answer, and who can blame them? Evidently, the movie business and the CE industry have not done a good job educating people about the difference between DVD and Blu-ray, never mind UHD 4K Blue Disc, and persuading them to go for a premium option. These differences go further than just image resolution. Take frame rates, for example. Most DVDs contained interlaced video. The format can support progressive video, which is all I ever watched, but not at the 24 frames per second frame rate that most movies are shot at. Dolby Atmos sound and its competitor DTS-X are exclusive to Blu-ray and its 4K sibling, though much more common on the latter, and naturally 4K resolution and HDR are only available with the Ultra HD format. Another reason for the continuing success of DVD is that while just about everything gets released on DVD, that's not the case with Blu-ray, let alone 4K. Nowadays, many TV series, even those that were broadcast in HD, are released only on DVD.
Yeah, that's correct.
Not on Blu-ray. As for Ultra HD 4K, many new movies get released on the format, but TV series rarely do. Also, Netflix originals that are shot and streamed in 4K, like House of Cards, The Crown, Jessica Jones, and Daredevil, get a Blu-ray release at best. The only exception to that rule so far has been Stranger Things, but that 4K disc release has been a retailer exclusive, only available through Target. Some 4K enthusiasts frequently suggest that movie studios should stop releasing DVDs, apparently thinking that consumers would then upgrade to higher quality formats. I don't expect that would happen. The cost-conscious DVD buyers would more likely switch to just streaming options. Studios would be crazy to stop the cash cow that DVD still is, and it provides essential volume for the optical disc replication plants, of which there are fewer now than during the peak days of CD and DVD, to keep running at a decent load. The modest rise in market share for Ultra HD Blu-ray will likely resume when blockbuster titles are getting released again and the movie business returns to normal. The best weekly market share for the format so far was when Avengers Endgame was released. 20% Blu-ray disc did nearly 50% that week, also a great score. Major titles have been few and far between since the pandemic struck. The only real tentpole title, this big studio movie, was Tenet. It sold 38% in 4K. So that's huge. That's 38% in 4K in its premiere week, pushing the format's market share to 6.6%, above average for 2020, and around 25% in the weeks following. There are some highlights coming up. Pixar's Soul was released in late March, followed the week after by Wonder Woman 1984, and in May we can probably look forward to a home video release of the much-anticipated Zack Snyder's Justice League, preceded by a remastered edition of Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, which has already come out. Also expected shortly is Godzilla vs. Kong. The first week of quarter number 2 is already looking better than any week in quarter 1 did, with an 8.8% market share for 4K, and that's based on just a single week. Some studios have logically shifted their attention to reissuing back catalog titles in 4K, though perhaps not as much as one might have expected. The Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit trilogies were reissued on Ultra HD 4K Blu-ray in late 2020, apparently somewhat sooner than initially planned. In quarter 2, we can look forward to a box set of all the Indiana Jones movies remastered in 4K. And this is interesting. The installed base of UHD 4K Blu-ray capable players is sure to rise massively this year, thanks to the introduction of the PlayStation 5, if people can get them, and the Xbox Series X. Discless digital-only versions of both consoles exist. The Microsoft one is called Xbox Series S, but millions of players will be in households in the course of this year. These devices are foremost game consoles, but statistics show that console owners use the devices for many forms of entertainment, including music, movies, and series. A lot of that may happen in the form of streaming, but the option is there. Will this impact the sales of movies on Ultra HD 4K Blu-ray? Not before major movies see releases on home video again. Once that returns to normal, we may see higher volumes of discs selling than ever before. Well, Justin, thanks for that article. I mean, yeah, I'm surprised that the first quarter of this year, DVD sales 71%, but I understand. I mean, when you read that, you know, Tenet, of course, getting things like, I mean, I never thought we would ever see movies like Day of the Beast in 4K. No. And thanks to people like Severin and Blue Underground who are doing things like that, and New York Ripper, and they're putting other stuff out. So, Justin, thanks for that article. What an interesting article.
It was always piss drop when I started to collect a TV show on Blu-ray, and then it stopped, and they only put it out on DVD and for the rest of the seasons.
Yeah, I hated that.
I didn't bought the DVDs. Then I switched to the streaming option, and I can tell you, Rob, what probably was my last DVD that I bought.
Ooh.
The last DVD I bought was Free Enterprise.
Well, wow.
Because I wanted to see that masterpiece.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I know it was not your favorite movie. That's okay. Well, my next one will be better. Justin Toner also goes on to say, I had a movie night with friends last night for the first time in months. It was a Hitchcock double feature of Rebecca and Frenzy. The 4K restoration on the Criterion Blu-ray for Rebecca was gorgeous. Great movie. Frenzy was fun too. First time watching them both. Oh, well, Rebecca's fantastic. Frenzy's pretty good, but one of his very last movies. James Terje Tiberius Cork, my friend in Norway, sends us a nice tip and says, I could have used this money to buy German media book releases. I'm stupid. No, I think it's good that you sent it to me. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
We'll use it for his German media books.
Yeah, I'll be for my, yes. Sheriff Carl, always good to hear from you in the Pacific Northwest. Proust, Dieter, what's the best metal festival you've been to? Do you have Manowar's Hell on Earth series? Are you excited for Hell on Earth 6 on Blu-ray? I love Germany. Hail and kill, dudes.
I don't have the Hell on Earth series from Manowar. What was my favorite metal festival? It would probably be in Balingen. It's the Bang Your Head Festival, where Twisted Sister was headliner, but it's not that far back, I believe. But this is a shot in the dark, 2003, around that time. So it's a little bit way back. But this was my probably favorite festival because it has Y&T, one of my favorite bands I have never seen live. So I finally got to see Y&T live. It had Dokken, one of my favorite bands, in it. So it was a great festival. And Twisted Sister Dee Snider, as always, was rocking the house, Rob, in Bali.
Nice.
This was probably my favorite festival.
Sheriff Carl goes on and says, I got another round yesterday, and I watched it last night. I really liked it, but I'm partial to drinking. especially in Denmark. It's funny and moving. I look forward to hearing your thoughts on it, and there's also a bit of the Bad News Bears to it. All right. I'll check that out. Another round. Danzig, 1979, writes in and says, "Hi, Rob and Dieter. Will we get 28 Days Later in 4K? I heard it might not be possible due to the way it was filmed. I love your passion for physical media." Well, Danzig, I'll tell you, it was shot on video. It was only shot on HD video. They could probably do, and it was in the early days of video. And I mean, in terms of filming major releases, I would imagine that we won't get a 4K because it would. I don't think it would look very good blown up. I can't
imagine either.
Yeah, we might get a 4K of 28 Weeks Later though, because I think they shot that on film.
The only thing, if they would do some sort of double package with both movies in it, and just to have the first one as an upscale as a 4K, but I don't think that will happen.
I really like both of those movies.
Yeah.
I think they're both really good. Stubble McShave, hello, Stubble's back. Stubble says, "Dieter, concerning the French text on the booklet, you can use the Google Translate app to help you with the translation by scanning the text. It's not 100% accurate, but it's pretty good."
Okay, thanks, Stubble.
It is pretty good. That doodle, you can read all these foreign books, so I can go buy those big French books that they put out in France that I don't yet have. So that's our tips and super chats we're so far that have come in. Are you going to tell us the story of producing and making?
Okay. So everyone, physical media show is over. If you want to stay and hear this kind of stuff, you can stay, of course. Okay. So it started again with actually Hot Toys, because we all know Hot Toys are not really cheap.
No.
And sometimes my boss has to do his order over me, because the lady of the house, it's probably better she doesn't know what such stuff costs. So you have to, a little bit work around. So I had to order a lot of Hot Toys for Patrick, and we did always an exchange at work, and I gave him his Hot Toy. From that, I spun the idea, but just rudimentary. A shot like Quentin Tarantino, just from the trunk, two guys talking, and if you didn't know what they were talking about, you would think it's some sort of fetish. Is there a nude girl in it or something like that? And the twist at the end would be, you see in the trunk, it's a Hot Toy figure, what they were talking about. But the first one then got a little bigger, and we wanted to shoot that just in a parking house. And I imagine just a shot from the trunk, one take, done with it. But this was just an idea. Then I don't know, David, how much back you go to Robservation, because last year in the COVID situation, it's gotten a point where it did get better. We could go to the movies again.
Yeah.
And I did go to the movies with my friend Patrick in Unhinged. I asked him if he was up for it, if we do a little greeting video for Rob here from our multiplex, say what we thought about Unhinged. And after we saw the movie, he said, what about this idea from you to do that secret exchange stuff with a Hot Toy figure? Why don't we do that? And I said, okay, we can do that. And he came up with the stuff at the beginning of the secret exchange one. This was not in the script at all. And then we really did a little pre-production where we'll shoot it. Patrick found a location. There was some house in the back, but this was a little bit of an industry complex. We were mostly alone. There was some passenger people going by, but not really that many. And we didn't had his daughter in it at all. This was really a last-minute thing. Just before, if we could I asked him, will Mia be on the set? Because Rob will tell you, at sometimes a set can be boring if you have nothing to do, especially for kids. There's a lot of waiting around. So we thought, okay, we could just implement her giving you the money, okay? So we did that really at the last minute. And that was it for it. Secret Exchange. I sent it to Rob. Rob said, yeah, I liked it. I put it on his YouTube channel because we said, okay, let's do it in English. It sounds a little bit more ridiculous, but more people can watch it. And people seem to love it. And that was it for us. But Rob is a greedy bastard, David. He said, you have to do a trilogy. And I thought, what the hell? This was just an afternoon, and that's it, okay? And I hadn't any idea how we can go on from that point. But the idea came from Patrick himself, because his Thor hot toy figure got damaged here at the elbow joint. The skin was tearing. But you could get the Thor, just the body you could order, just the body from Thor. So we ordered a new body for him, and then he came up with the idea if you open the box and it was just the naked figure in it and not the hot toy that he was used to. And then I spun up the idea from that spark that there was just the naked figure in it. So you wanted to know about the location. You have to know, David, in Germany, at Sundays, the grocery shops are closed. You can't buy groceries here at Sunday. The shops are closed, so it was just a normal parking space where we filmed that. All the beginning of the Secret Exchange stuff, Patrick did shot it at home or just around his neighborhood. But the location with the exchange between us was just a parking space from a grocery where I do my grocery shopping. So it was Sunday, so there was almost no people that would park there. But when we did the shenanigans with his daughter, actually one person came up with his car. What is going on there? Because he was really thought that somebody was getting beaten up. So from far, it seems pretty realistic to him, but we could convince him that it was just that we did a little movie here, because Rob told us you have to do a closed set, and we said, nah, it'll be fine. We do it guerrilla style. It will be fine. But really, there was something really coming up to us and was asking what we were doing there. And there was just a street, just a road down from it, David. So it wasn't just a park. It was just a parking space. And below us was the road, which, of course, gave the audio problems because we are just a three-man crew. Sometimes the smartphone is farther back than the smartphone is nearer. So you have always audio issues with the traffic behind it. That's all stuff that you learn when you shoot this little stuff, what has come into it. And considering the fighting sequence, we really wanted to do it as good as we can. Don't do it shaky cam or just some stuff at it. We rehearsed some stuff at Patrick's home, and we didn't find out really pretty quickly that we should do all the gymnastic stuff to his daughter, because we are just too old to do this stuff. We can take a beating, but not much else. Okay, so I will go through the fight sequence, because, like Rob told us, it's show business, not show friends. And I asked to be that I would give a credit as a fight choreographer on his movie. That I wanted my boss that he put in the end credits. So we did a little bit of trickery, because it started with the kick in the knee joint, David. And this is just the oldest trick in the book. It's a reverse shot. So it started with Mia's foot in my knee joint, and then he pulls her foot back, and I stand up. But if you switch it around, play it in the reverse, it looks like she just kicking me in the knee. So this was the first thing. And then, like Rob always told me, it always matters what is in the proscenium of the frame.
Yep.
I'm too old to be on my knees for 20, 30, or 50 minutes just to shoot stuff. So if you see me just up here, like now, I was sitting comfortably on a chair. And Mia, since you've seen Mia is really a little petite. We had her on a chest because I wanted to a little bit higher so she could put her arm around my throat a little bit more easily otherwise. So I was sitting if you see me just up here, I was sitting on a chair and Mia was standing on a chest behind me. So she could do that. So it was really easy for me. It was really comfortable. That was this. So we only have, I think, 1 or 2 shots where you can really see me on my knees to give it some verisimilitude. And even in that scene, I have some knee protections under the jeans which I was wearing. But other than that, I was sitting or kneeling on a pillow or something like that. So let me think about. Okay, then she pulled in. This was just okay. This is more like the wrestlers would say. It almost the one who takes the punishment has to sell it more than the people who dishes out the punishment. And when she kicked me in the stomach, this was really done real, but she didn't kick that hard. Okay, it was more like when you're wrestling, you see always these kicks that goes always over the complete chest. So it was not really in the stomach. And the kick in the face is actually a 3-part. It is the same technique with the stuff in the knee joint. So Mia kicked as far as she would allow it, and she thinks she could, to my face. And the middle part is actually the same, done in reverse. She put her foot on my face, and I pushed her foot away. And then Patrick has to do Rob stuff, editing the stuff together, so that it looks like she was kicking me in the face, but actually it was in reverse. And the last part was she taking her foot completely off. So it was from 3 parts put together. Okay, this was this, and then the kick in the ribs was done for real, but of course Mia didn't really kick with full force. Okay, then I fumbled around. Okay, and the foot on the throat thing is, if you look closely, I hold her leg, so it's actually me pulling her leg more to my throat, because I can feel if I have complications or not. She's just loosely putting her foot there, and it looks like she was putting her foot down, but it's actually me pulling her leg more down, because I can feel if it would be uncomfortable for me or not. So and I told Mia she can't come to me and do it a little bit too hesitant. Of course, she can't stomp on it, but she really has to put the foot down and not do it a little bit hesitant or don't want to hurt Dieter. So that was already fine. Then I rolled over, and the kick in the stomach, it was just, you could see me only from the back. So it was just a pillow was in front of me, and Mia could just kick in the pillow. And that kick was especially fought because her boss didn't recognize it, that this was happening. So we thought this was just for her, because I was wasting our bed as his time, because he thought, okay, this could handle my boss on his own. Why I had to come with him? So this was just for her own sake that I wasted her time. And you asked about the blood stuff, David. I don't know if you know it, David, but there is an online retailer called Amazon. You type in fake blood, and there it is. You can order fake blood. And I was really surprised how good it looked. It was just a little bottle, about I think $14. And I put something on my hand. It really looked good. And if you look closely in one shot, but I don't know which shot, it's probably it's the foot on the throat, or later when I get my glasses, you can see on the pavement there are some blood drops, but that was not done that we wanted it to do. We spilled a little bit on not on purpose, but in one shot you can actually see the blood still on the pavement. David, you can just almost order anything, even fake blood. So I hope this almost answers all of your questions you had about the secret exchange. Then we showed it to Rob as the first entry for the film festival, but and we did it during the COVID, the COVID time. The script for part 3 is done long time ago. We know what we want to do. We didn't have started shooting because of COVID, because it was winter time. And Patrick wanted to do something for his own channel with hot toy reviews. But there's a little movement because Patrick found probably a location, an outdoor location. We need another outdoor location to shoot something. And my boss seems to at least found a location where we can do one outdoor scene. And probably, let's not get our hopes up, next week, Mortal Kombat is coming out, Rob, on HBO Max. Patrick will come over. And it can be that we will do the first take for part 3.
Yeah, I mean, I would think Mortal Kombat, if something doesn't inspire you to make the third part of the Secret Exchange, if it's not Mortal Kombat, nothing will.
Then what else is.
By the way,
so
Tony...
I hope that covers all your questions. If you have any question else, just send me an email and then I will write to you back if you have any more.
Tony Reyes sends in a super chat and says, with Aliens approaching its 35th anniversary this July, do you believe we'll get a 4K release?
That would be nice.
It would be.
But we would really rather have Abyss 4K or True Lies 4K.
Yeah, I would like to have the Abyss. I mean, Aliens in 4K would be great. I mean, I would love to get it in 4K. It's a grainy movie anyway, but I would love to get it. And I mean, maybe Disney would put it out, but it just bums me out that it'd be now the 5th movie that I would love to get a 4K release on from James Cameron that we don't have. I mean, I know he's busy with the Avatar sequels, but I sure would like to get those movies on 4K.
Oh, yes.
So
you would buy them, Rob. You would buy them.
I would buy them. Well, listen, Dieter, I think that brings us to an end for show number 22. Room for one more, honey. Room 22, if you remember that Twilight Zone episode with T'Pring from Star Trek. Anyway, that's a deep cut. Anyway, number 22. So, I don't know when I ordered those 4Ks directly from Arrow. I don't know when they're going to show up, when they'll be here.
As far as I know, Rob, the release is end of April. So,
sometimes they send things earlier though than the release.
Okay.
So that would be nice. I would love to see that happen. And so that's it. That's it.
Okay.
All right, sir. Good show. I say to everybody, live long and prosper. I want to thank my moderating staff. Brian Hepburn is here. Justin Toner's here. I don't know who else is here. I think Brian and Justin are here. Thank you for being here, gentlemen. And it's good to have you. I want to thank also Mike Bodden and, of course, the Richard and all my other moderators for being great. I want to thank everybody for supporting the channel via Super Chats and Tips. Thank you very much. If you want to send us a letter, you can at the Burnettwork.net
no matter the topic.
No matter the topic. Just send it on in. We'll read it here on the show. It doesn't cost anything. And so there you go. And let's see what else. That's about it. Other than I can't wait to get more physical media in my life. I can never have enough.
No.
And on that note, I would say, Dieter, live long and prosper.
You too, my friend.
And I will be back on Observations later.
Yep.
Yes, see you next week.
Great.
It's true. And we